Every time we start, I feel like I don't know how to do a podcast. That's why.
Welcome to Haunted Smoke and Mirrors podcast. I'm Em.
I'm Riker.
We had an eventful night yesterday.
Yeah. Uh, we went to the ER at like midnight last
Yeah.
night.
Mhm.
Um, because I was having symptoms of a stroke.
It's a good time over here, nice and stressful.
I I did not have a stroke.
Yeah, that's good,
We're
right?
yeah, we're good, but yeah, I had a like really rapid onset headache, and the left side of my body was like hurting and
Mhm.
tingly and going numb, and so we went to the ER, and that
Got
it
you
was a
boosted.
time. I've never had so many people be like, "So you might be having a stroke," and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm 26."
Yeah, they were like announcing it
To everyone, "You're
yeah, a
getting
whole bunch of
the
doctors
stroke
came
team."
in. Mhm.
Yeah, they're like, "Have you notified the stroke team?" And I was like, "Oh, this is like serious, okay."
Like, we have a stroke case, alert a stroke case, we're bringing in a stroke case, and we're like,
It was
okay.
it was not a stroke. They did, like, tests and things, and everything came back normal. They think it was just a weird abnormal headache, so they pumped me full of medicine, and then I came home
Yeah,
and passed out, so
but second time going to the ER in a
this
few
year
months. Before every time you have a nickel, we have so many of those nickels that are just
too
so
many
good to know.
nickels. Too many nickels, but also, if you're watching on YouTube, you can probably see that we have our puppy here with us, UA.
Yeah, we were posting like TikToks because we have a pet channel on TikTok called
Our pet
Our Pet
bakery.
Bakery, which is a whole thing of why it's called that.
That's a whole other backstory.
But we posted a video of her being a puppy where she's teeny tiny and now she's big. But people are really getting a kick out of that, out of the sassy puppy noises that she
This
makes.
the sassy corgi that
Yeah.
is UA.
So if you want to follow us over there, I'll link our Pet Bakery TikTok in the show notes so you guys can go follow us there and watch all of the shenanigans that are our pets.
But if you don't know, the whole premise of this podcast is we talk about spiritual, metaphysical things, all that kind of stuff, but we go in completely unscripted. We don't really plan for anything, and instead we just have a general like topic or sentence or word that we go off
Mhm.
of, and then we just rant and ramble. So we're doing that today, and we're going to be talking about love and light, but not in the way that you think.
We're going to be talking about how it's a toxic way of thinking, which
And
is crazy because
yeah,
I recently got a TikTok from, I think it was like Emily Dexter, who was talking about like the same thing.
I do love Emily Dexter. She's
Same.
fantastic. Um, yeah, Em and I have a lot of opinions about love and light,
Hmm.
and I think we mentioned in one of the recent podcasts, one of the
Yes.
previous ones, about like we were saying like love and light BS and like how we don't like it. And people were like, "Wait, what do you mean by that?" So we're gonna talk about love and light. I don't know. I hate the love and light whole everything about it.
Yeah, it's a big topic to figure out where to start with it because, like, it affects a lot of different aspects of spirituality. Like, for example, the whole, like, raise your vibration. And once you raise your vibration, you're gonna, like, ascend to the 5D. And if you're not, like, eating your vegetables, you'll never get there. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like it goes into like even the like star seeds, which are
Yes.
problematic, and like Lumerians and the people who like believe that they're like alien species that are now here on Earth that are like a superior race or something. And all of that stems from white supremacy. I think we've talked about that briefly before, but I don't like love and light personally because I feel like so many people who use it try to make it seem like you're not allowed to have any negative emotions, no thoughts. You have to be like super positive. Like it's like toxic positivity.
Yeah.
And like I might like upset people by saying this, but it also kind of gives off white women feminism in a sense of like it feels just very, very performative
Hmm.
and fake.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like when people talk about like manifestation and stuff like that, of like, you can't have a negative thought at all, otherwise, you're going to manifest negative things to you. but that's not how it is at all.
And I think that to me, there's a difference between claiming, like, the whole love and light and just being, like, a normal, like, person. Like, I think that spreading positivity, kindness, like, those are good
Yeah.
things, but I don't consider that to be love and light.
Yeah.
But from my hot take is it's always the most toxic people that are constantly, like, signing everything and posting everything of, like, "With love and light,
Mhm.
so and so," and I think it's bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
those people like, I've known some of those people personally, I've seen other people like, I've watched content
Mhm.
and heard things about, like, those types of people, and they're, like some of them are, like, cult leaders, like
Mhm.
Teal Swan. Like, there's oh, it's just so toxic,
Mhm.
and I feel like it also adds into the fear-mongering aspect of spirituality of, like, if you're too, like, afraid of something or you're, like, too negative, then you're bringing on, like, attachments and all of this negative, horrible things. If you
Yeah.
wanna fix all the issues in your life, you have to only radiate positivity and love and light and happiness, and it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, the, like, raising your vibration thing is interesting to me because raising your vibration isn't necessarily everything that you need to do. You need to have, like, a balanced vibration. It's kinda like, people talking about, "You have to balance your chakras," and that gives the ideation that they have to be, like, all perfectly balanced, but it's not necessarily like, I don't know, if you think about the chakras having, like, water in each one of them, it's not equal parts water. One day you might be really, really stressed out, so one of your chakras is super full. The other chakras have to compensate for that. They have to balance to that.
Mhm.
So it's not a, like, you have to raise your vibration and overcome everything with positivity. You have to acknowledge the bad stuff and acknowledge, like, your shadow self, and you need to acknowledge, like, where the beliefs are coming from that are making you feel a certain type of way instead of being like, "Oh, I'm gonna ignore
Yeah.
all of the bad stuff and just pretend to be happy and everything will be fine."
Yeah, I don't know, I feel like so many people who, like, push the love and light narrative, and I'm talking more so, like, content like, other spiritual content creators, things like that.
Yeah.
Versus, like, if you are someone who's like, "But I believe in love and light," I'm not necessarily trying to attack you, but I don't personally like it,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing with, like, the, like, left path magic or left hand magic of, like, you have to, like it makes you afraid of doing the wrong thing because I have to do all of these steps to raise my vibration, I have
Mhm.
to ascend, and I don't think that, like first of all, I don't believe in, like, ascending to the 5D or any of that. I think that that is bullshit. I think that we are human beings because we're supposed to be human beings. I
Mhm.
don't think that there is an enlightened form of human beings. I think that the people that they look at that, like, reach, like, nirvana or enlightenedness, they are finding the acceptance with themselves of all parts of themselves, not just focusing on, like,
Yeah.
being, like, the perfect human, because that's
Right.
a lot of the stuff that I see is, like,
Uh-huh.
s like, the star seeds of, like, "Oh, like, we're star seeds, we're, like, superior people, we're blah, blah, blah," and I just
Yeah, because I mean,
hate it.
the thing that was in the TikTok that I saw from Emily Dexter is she was talking about how people take, like, ancient practices and spirituality and almost, like, try to, like, almost, like,
Oh,
commercialize it. It's kinda like
100%.
I know that Reiki isn't a closed practice, but this is the example that she used, is that ancient practices of Reiki, like, a lot of religious practice of Reiki, it was very, like, detailed, complicated, like, people, like, learned and trained how to do this, and now every bitch and their mother knows how
Mhm,
to do Reiki, but it's been so, like, changed and
mhm.
skewed to
It's been
make it
whitewashed.
easy. Mhm.
Like, so much of spirituality, especially, like, if you are someone who likes to go into metaphysical, like,
Yeah.
shops, the amount of, like, I don't know, like, Buddhist statues and, like, chakra things, it's
Mhm.
all just it is stealing things from, like, Eastern Asian cultures specifically, like
Yeah,
Hinduism, Buddhism, and it is whitewashing it and commercializing it to
yeah,
just like make money. It's to
yeah.
profit off of it. And then the people who push the love and light narrative and kind of push those things, all they're doing is contributing to like the capitalistic nature of the whitewashing of all
Mhm.
that stuff. And I don't know. I've just never vibed with it.
Yeah, because she was talking about how people think it's okay and fine to
Mhm.
like smudge things with white sage. And she's like, the culture that uses that specifically asks you not to do
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
because when you're doing that, you don't understand all of the intricacies that go into it.
Mhm.
So you are just diminishing it and diminishing it and diminishing it, and that is a pivotal like
Yeah.
contributor to their culture.
Yeah. Like white sage, like you said, is it's like a very like sacred and like personal thing
Hmm.
to um I'm completely drawing a blank on the culture, so I'm so sorry. I think it's more like native indigenous cultures.
Hmm.
But I I didn't learn that until later, so I had white sage and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So
Yeah.
I think I donated it or like gave it back because I didn't want to participate in it. But the other day, we were hanging out with our friend Kayla. Hi Kayla, we love you. And I was going through I was doing like I've been going through a lot of trauma work doing therapy. I'm not going to get into that. Maybe later in the second half of the podcast. We'll tease that later. But I was reading an old like note in my phone about someone that we used to know was pushing the narrative on me that I was this like dark spirit, that I was like a darker, lower vibration,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was like negative, and I needed to like do more to fix it. And it destroyed me because I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm me, and you're telling me that there's something wrong with me because
Yeah.
I'm not like matching the stereotype of what other people look like. I think that's so it was just really funny, like, looking back on it and being like, that was so hard for me to grasp because I just wanted to explore spirituality.
Mhm.
This person kept pushing the narrative on me that really on both of us, that we were, like,
Yeah.
darker, lower vibration, we were, like, needed to, like, work on things.
Oh yeah, I get that all the time.
Yeah,
That, "Oh, you're just so dark and negative all the time." But,
like, no, I'm
like
human.
yeah, so you're saying that I have to remove all of my characteristics that make what people uncomfortable.
Yeah. So you want us to keep masking and because we're autistic, you want us to keep, you know, I don't know, it's pushing a toxic narrative that people aren't allowed to be themselves and that they have to strive to be something that they aren't.
Yeah.
And I think that it causes a lot of problems in spirituality. Like we've had so many people talk about like in our community or come to us, they're like, "Yeah, I've been trying to like raise my vibration, do all of this stuff because I feel like I need to, like, ascend or, like, fix all these things instead of just being comfortable with who you are as a person." I know UA's being funny.
Yeah, well, I've had people say I don't know, I had someone tell me that, like, for dark things, because the spiritual community is very afraid of dark entities, demons, all of that stuff, even the paranormal community is. And they were telling me, like, you just have to ignore it and it'll go away. Like, if you give your energy, your like fear towards it, it's gonna just get bigger and worse. So the way to get rid of it is to ignore it. So I did that for a while and it wasn't really working.
Yeah.
So I remember like they told me that one like a dark entity like came out of one of my tarot decks that I like ordered online. And I remember being like, "Oh, that's scary, like, I don't wanna be associated to that." And instead of ignoring it, I, like, talked to it and asked it why it was here, and it was like, "Well, I'm here because, A, the person that, like, was selling this deck is dealing with certain characteristics or certain, like, traumas that you are also dealing with.
Mhm.
So, you talking to me is, like, acknowledging it and confronting it and taking accountability for, like, the dark things that are going on in your life so that you can learn and grow from it.
Mhm.
Because that is the reason why you, quote, unquote, "attract dark entities." They aren't there to, like, cause doom onto your family 90% of the time. They're there because you are experiencing trauma, and they're gonna help you process that,
Mhm.
and that's okay and fine.
I just find it interesting that the spiritual community has adopted and kind of this, like, love and light, like, rule set, I'm gonna say, because it does to me, it feels a lot like rules of how you are supposed to, like, do things, like, you're s like, oh, I don't know, the amount of times that I've, like, "Oh, I have, like, been experiencing pain," it's like, "Oh, like, have you tried, like, Reiki? Like, I think you have a block in your chakra that's causing it," and I'm like, "No, I have just chronic illnesses, and like, spirituality or doing Reiki or that isn't going to, like, take away the
Yeah.
fact that the bottom vertebrae of my spine is slipped forward and pinching nerves, like,
Yeah, you're
that."
still in a physical body,
Yeah, I'm
there's
still in a
only
physical
so much you
body.
can do.
I feel there's things that you can do, obviously, like shadow work, but again, that kinda goes back into the, like, our therapy podcast where I think that if you want to actually, like, try to heal or raise your vibration, you should go to therapy first,
Mm,
and that and find the balance between, like, proper, like, mental health support
yeah,
and spirituality, because you can have both. I mean, I go to therapy, I'm a spiritual person, I have practices, like, I like crystals, I like, I don't know. I don't really meditate, but that's because I don't meditation just isn't for me
yeah.
fully. I have too many
There's a lot of
ADHD.
opinions
Yeah.
about meditation.
I mean, we can talk about that too, because I feel like the whole, like, "Oh, you need to, like, meditate and clear your mind," falls under love and light. I'm kind of
Yeah.
viewing love and light as, like, an umbrella thing of, like, all of the stuff that I just don't like about spirituality. So much of it is, like, interconnected.
Well, I
So
feel like I don't know I I don't know exactly what you think it is. I feel like it's very much a, like, unwritten rule that you have to stay in this, like, toxic positivity. You have to do things in a very specific way or you're not gonna, like,
mhm.
it's not gonna work.
I mean, I agree with that. When I was, like, getting into witchcraft initially, a lot of that mindset has kind of carried over into, like, I'm still gonna say the more commercialized aspect of witchcraft, and because spirituality kind of has witchcraft under it as an, like, an umbrella. When I was, like, first getting into witchcraft, so many people that I would, like, watch or look at for, like, I don't know, an idea of, like, maybe how I was supposed to, like, do X, Y, and Z was like, you need to practice every day. You need to, like, set your intention every day. You need to write, like, mantras on, like, your mirror to, like, keep yourself positive. You need to do X, Y, and Z, and, like, you need to, like, not fall out of practicing, even if it's, like, something small. You need to, like, hold tarot every day. Like, you need to do something every day if you want to stay connected.
Yeah,
And that ended up pushing me out of spirituality for a time because I was like, sometimes I don't have the energy and don't have to make every waking moment about staying positive and connecting. I can, I should be allowed to just exist as a human sometimes and not focus on, like, having, like, super positive thoughts. Like, I'm a sarcastic asshole a lot.
mhm,
And a lot of people view that as, like, full, like, negativity or, like, "Oh, you need to, like, be positive." And I'm like, am someone who looks at, like, the glass as, like, half full versus half empty, but also, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I have a lot of, like, angry opinions about it, and I'm just like, this is what I hate about spirituality. What do you think, UA?
he wants to lick my mic.
Are you love and light?
That's a lot of topics. Which topic do you wanna talk about first? Meditation? Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's do meditation. Let's talk about meditation.
Okay, meditation I think is interesting because I feel like there's multiple ways that you can meditate. But there's also people that say and like are hard on the fact of like you have to be able to clear your mind, and once you are able to do that, then you'll like actually understand what meditation is. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, but what if you are neurodivergent and that is like, I don't know. I don't know. I, like, say that, and I can hear people being like, "But yeah, but that's the hard part of meditation. You have to practice not having any thoughts."
Listen,
Ugh,
I can shut off my thoughts if I want to,
I cannot.
but that is how I dissociate. That is how I, like, detach and go numb. So, for me, it is not a good thing to just, like, clear my thoughts, have no thoughts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that I've like, in especially in our community who, because I know that a lot of people in our community struggle with meditation as well, because 'cause we've
Mhm.
talked about it a bit, but it's also really hard when you're neurodivergent. Like, if you're ADHD or autistic, like, just sitting still and fully clearing your mind is really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And that was another thing for me where when I started getting into everything, I would try to meditate, but because I was struggling to, like, follow the rules and do exactly that, I felt like I was failing.
Mhm. Yeah, I, like, don't know what the, like, full goal of meditation is, because I feel like people use it to, like, connect to spirit, but if you're not supposed to have any thoughts,
I don't
how do
understand.
you
Yeah.
do that? Or maybe it's like that like calms your mind so that you can do it later. So if you do the meditation where you like fully clear your mind and stuff like that, um, let us know what happens because we're reading like that one book that we're doing for like Coven or whatever, and he talks about meditation.
Mhm.
And he's like the one that's like a big advocate of like it's hard to clear your mind, but you can do it, and once you do it, you'll start feeling more connected to spirit or whatever, but I'm like,
For me,
"What?"
that's not how I feel personally. It doesn't work for me that way. Like, for me, I can't if I consider meditating for myself, doing having some sort of, like, music on in the background. So I have, like, a playlist that I found on Spotify that's called, like, Witchy Lo-Fi.
Mhm.
I can link it for you guys. I did not make the playlist, someone else did, but can you chill? I know that
She
you want.
wants to walk around.
No, you're gonna sit and cuddle us. It's nap time for you.
Like, "You're gonna eat the chinchilla poop over there. They're
Yeah.
gonna throw it to you like little treats."
Oh my god. Um, but I like listening to music, so I have,
Mhm.
like, a specific playlist that if I feel like I need to, like, focus or, like, work on something and I want to, like, meditate,
Yeah.
I put on that playlist and then I do whatever I'm gonna do, whether it's, like, working on my grimoire or doing
Yep.
a tarot spread or even reading. Like, for that is how I set my meditation practice, but a lot of people don't consider that actually meditation.
Right.
But
Yeah, I'm not sure what's supposed to happen if you're not supposed to have any thoughts, because I feel like what you're doing is helping you to focus your thoughts, which would be a form of meditation, but I'm not entirely sure.
yeah, 'cause, have you tried any of the, like, things on YouTube of, like the music, the, like, different hertz, like, sounds, like, guided
No.
meditations?
I tried one that just one about spirit guides, and I could not stay awake. It was so boring.
I've tried, like, everything. There's also that big ass fly is back. Sorry, we're very ADHD today. Doesn't help that puppy is, like, wanting to
Also ADHD.
ADHD and is like, "I don't come down here very often."
I wanna explore.
No exploring for Puffy Puppy. Um, I don't know, I've tried the guided meditations, I've tried the astral projection meditations, I've tried, like, the different, like, sound, like, musics to, like, help you meditate and
What
deep
are did they,
meditation.
like, lead you through, like, things you're supposed to imagine, or they're just, "Clear your
It'll,
mind."
like, it'll, like, talk you through, like, breathing exercises, and,
Uh,
like, I do think breathing exercises work, but again, that is also, like that has also been, like, whitewashed to an
yeah.
extent, like, so much of spirituality in general has been, like, very heavily whitewashed and,
Mhm.
like, commercialized.
Yeah.
Because this is, like, a slight tangent, but we're working on, like, a deep dive about astral projection, and
Mhm.
I went to YouTube to try to, like, see if I could find a video that had, like, resources or education about, like, where astral projection came from, and you can't find those things.
Yeah.
Even with meditation, it's just like, "Here's all of these guides on how to
Mhm.
meditate, here's all these steps, here's what you have to do," but
Yeah.
no one can actually, like,
It's just
sit down and break it
regurgitations
down.
of the same
Mhm,
thing.
or if you do find a video of someone talking about it, it's them talking about someone else. Like, they got an idea from someone else, who got the idea from someone else, who got the idea from, like, and it just keeps going, and it's just been, like, a game of telephone that's been, like, so simplified and, like, washed down that it just
Yeah.
feels like a nothing burger now. It just feels like it
Yeah,
feels
it takes
pointless.
out the, like, purpose of it.
'Cause I
Almost.
even with, like, the whole, like, intention is everything, like, I do think that intention has a lot to do with life in general, but sometimes it just doesn't work for you. And I and to me, the whole point of spirituality is to find what works for you and, like, learn your like, learn how you operate as a person rather than, I don't know, like, reach this, like, perfect form of
This
everything.
perfect love and light form,
Are you trying to steal my energy drink, UA?
probably.
I like the idea of meditation,
Mhm.
but I have to do it in, like, my own way.
Yeah, which is what I usually, like, tell people, like, it's hard to just sit there and just not have thoughts.
Mhm,
Then I think about not thinking, so isn't that a thought? So, like, I don't know. But I tell people, like, there's certain things that can get you into that mindset because my impression of what meditation is supposed to do or what people are using it for is to connect with spirit and to make your mind, like, open it up to spirit instead of being stuck in this, like, egotistical viewpoint of the world,
mhm,
which I think is what the point is, but I'm not fully sure. And a lot of times you can do that through, like, driving in the car. Driving in the car causes your brain to,
mhm,
allow more information. It's kinda like a zoning out type of a feeling, and that just allows the, like, world in front of you to try to go away so that you can start letting in what is beyond that.
mhm. I mean, like, the other day when I was, um, power washing our driveway, because 'cause I've been, like, doing some, like, stuff, like, in our
You're
yard and
loving
everything.
lighting our
I'm
driveway.
loving lighting our driveway.
I'm sorry.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I had music on, headphones, was just doing that, like, that was, like, calming, relaxing for me because I was sitting and focusing on, like, the task of power washing. I had
Mhm.
music.
Yeah.
I was, like, outside, so I was, like, I was, touching grass, feeling the sun on my skin, like, that that's that felt good in that moment.
Yeah.
She's trying to jump behind the couch so bad.
Yeah, there's a table behind the couch, so she's trying to get on the table.
Um, so yeah, I don't know, meditation, I mean, even, like, as much I mean, listen, we love crystals, but the even the people who push, like, crystals for, like, everything
Yeah.
is, like, a little bit of a lot
Well,
for
it's like
me.
Moldavite. Moldavite is gonna ruin your life. Everything is just gonna fall apart. We have 2 pieces of Moldavite, and we're still kicking. Our life was falling apart before we got the Moldavite.
Yeah,
It honestly started leveling out once we fucking got it, let's get real.
yeah, and, like, I do believe that, like, crystals and things have, like, metaphysical properties,
Yeah. No, I
but,
agree.
again, I feel like there's an actual balance
Yeah.
of, like, what is, like, I don't know, like, what things are, like, amethyst, for instance, like, I amethyst helps with, like, anxiety and things, so I like carrying it around for, like, peace of mind, but also I have generalized anxiety disorder, so I also have
Mhm.
to take, like, medication to help manage my anxiety.
Yeah.
So, like, there's, like, a balance to things,
Yeah.
I don't think that you need to, like, fully just shove a, like, jade egg up your coochie to, like, solve all your problems personally, but
Well, it also goes into, like, go switching topics to, like, witchcrafty things,
mhm,
because you can use things in a love and light positive way, but people are so afraid to do anything, like, negative, which is also, like, puts them off to witchcraft in general, so, like, people are so afraid to do anything a little bit, quote, unquote, "baneful."
mhm.
So, like, you put a needle in a candle or something like that, and people are like, "Oh my god, you want to, like, hurt someone that's trying to, like, get into your ward or whatever," and you're like, "Okay, how is this any different than the, like, electric fence that's around your house or the barbed
Mhm.
wire around your house?" Like, they're not gonna get hurt if they don't touch it.
We had this conversation, in one of our coven meetings because if you guys
Yeah.
don't know, through Patreon, we host a monthly coven meeting where we'll, like, get together and do spells or talk about things, and one of them was we were doing protection spells, and so you're talking about
Yeah.
baneful
Oh,
magic versus not
painfuls.
baneful because in some of our protections, we add things that are a little bit spicy, but it's so if, like, people are going out of their way to cross boundaries, like, they get a kickback from
Mhm.
it because they have the bad intention,
Yeah.
so they are suffering a consequence.
Yeah.
So we had the discussion of, "Is that baneful or not?" I
Right.
don't think it's baneful because to me, baneful is like, "I'm mad at this specific person, I am
Purposely
putting a
causing
hex or
harm.
a curse with the intention of, like, ruining their life or causing, like,
Yes.
significant harm or something." I
Uh-huh.
also don't think baneful magic is, like I think that I still think it's more karmic than
Yes.
just attacking. Because
I
typically
mean,
if you're, like if you just don't like someone and they've done nothing to you and you're like, "I'm gonna curse them just because I don't like them," then, like,
maybe you'll get
that's
the karmatic
yeah.
response from that, but,
But if
like,
you're like, "This person, like, in my life has been, like, super, like, horrible to me, they've treated me bad," or, "This situation was horrible, they ruined this,
mm,
I want to do something to reflect their horrible things that they're doing to me back at them,"
yeah,
that's just karmic.
yeah, well, it's gonna naturally happen because of
Mhm.
that.
And my whole thought process behind that too is they're the ones who are doing the bad thing, so if you're just speeding up, like, a
Karmatic balance.
yeah, like, a natural consequence
Yeah.
to it, that's fine. Like, I don't think that if you are gonna curse someone that, like, they're gonna suddenly, like, drop dead.
Mhm.
I don't personally think that I
That
think
you
that
have
there
the ability to cause someone to get in a car crash or shit.
yeah, and I don't feel like I don't think that's what people are, like, doing when they do it.
Right.
Because there's in the book you're talking about,
Yeah.
Jason Miller, I think is his name.
Yeah, I think so.
It's, like, Protection Reversal Magic.
I can link that
Yeah,
too.
he talks about, there's, like, a specific, like, spell or ritual that people have done that, like, actually, like, they performed a, like, death curse or
Oh
something
my gosh.
on someone, and, like, a month or so later, that person died. I
Jesus
don't
Christ. I still
I
don't think
think
you
that
can
that is
do that.
an extreme you don't hear about that.
Right.
Like
You don't hear about people, like, wanting death out
yeah,
of a spell.
but I think that if you're doing a protection spell and you're like, my personal protection spell I want it to include that if someone, like, crosses my boundary, that they, like, stub their toe for the next week.
Yeah, well, it's like having barbed wire around a prison.
Yeah,
It's
like
not gonna hurt you unless you go and touch it.
and if you have I don't know, because how we personally do things, especially when it comes to witchcraft, is even if I'm doing something that is more of, like, a binding spell or something that someone would consider baneful,
Yeah.
I personally always add a, like, rule set where if this person changes their behavior or no longer does the thing
Mhm.
that is an issue for me, then, like, the whole thing stops.
Yeah. Like, they
Because
don't have the negative intention
yeah,
anymore.
my intention isn't to, like, completely destroy, ruin this person, like,
Yeah.
curse them for all eternity. It's like, I just want you to stop being mean to me,
Yeah.
and if once you stop being mean to me, then you'll stop, like, stepping in puddles with your socks. Sorry, Vanessa.
Yeah, Vanessa was like, "I'm gonna try to, like, hex you guys, and the hex I'm going to do is I'm going to force you to step in wet puddles in your socks." And apparently it
It backfired
backfired
on
and
her.
that just happened to
But
her.
that was also, like
That also sounds like a Vanessa thing.
yeah. But that's also, like that was also in, like, a good fun, like,
Yeah. We just
she
wanted to know fuck around and find out
yeah,
witchcraft. We need to do a podcast on that because that would be
y
hilarious.
yeah, but I I th so many people treat anything that could have any sort of negative consequence on another person as
Yeah.
baneful, and it makes people so afraid to do anything in terms of, like,
Mhm.
witchcraft, like, so you see people pretty much doing protection spells,
Yeah.
prosperity, self-love,
uh Yeah,
like
but
like,
it's like
basic
they're
commercialized things.
scared to do those things too, though.
Yeah, because it's like, "Oh, if I do it wrong, then I'm gonna, like, be ugly or I'm gonna become poor," and it's like, "N no, I
Yeah.
don't think that's how that works personally," like and obviously, I think it's completely fine to not do anything that you aren't personally comfortable with, but I think that so many people are so afraid of, like, one tiny, like, thing going wrong that they're like, I'm only gonna do, like, protection things,
Yeah.
or I'm only gonna do this, and I can't have a negative thought about another person because even if I think a bad thought about a person, if that person something bad happens to them, even, like, I must have caused it, and it's like, I no,
Mhm.
I don't think that's the case, like,
Yeah.
if not to get political, but if that was the case, then we wouldn't have certain people as president right now.
Mhm.
If that was, like if just, like, thinking, like, negative thoughts fully brought something into effect, so much more things would be happening around you.
Yeah, well, we were also I don't think it was in the protection and reversal magic, but it probably was mentioned because people are, like, so worried about doing, like, baneful things or not love and light spells because, like, of the threefold
Mhm.
rule or whatever, that whatever they put out, they get back
That's
threefold,
mhm.
which I've seen so many people say that that's BS.
I think that's BS. I've
'Cause
never
I
and yeah, sorry, I'll let you finish that before I chime
Yeah,
in.
because they were, like, talking about it in this book of, like, people think it's so unnatural to, like, do these, like, horrible, painful things, and it is natural. It's not, like, unusual. You're not
Mhm.
doing something that's, like, horrific. Like, it's literally, like, animalistic as well. Like, if you go and, like, slap a tiger is gonna go and chase you.
Exactly.
It's a natural consequence, that's what we're
Mhm.
talking about. So why are we being so fearful to, like, do anything? Because that just idea of, like, "Oh, if you do anything painful or anything that isn't, like, in your purest and highest good, everything is just gonna come back to haunt you and ruin your life." So that pushes people out of the witchcraft niche entirely.
Mhm. Yeah. A few years ago, I did a baneful spell on somebody. I'm not gonna get into the specifics of all of that, but it was like I was doing some sort of like curse or something because I was going through a lot of really horrible things, and this specific person was a big cause of it. And then I went on a work trip. That was right before I went to Boston. You know about the Boston story.
Oh, yeah.
But for the rest of you guys, because I haven't really talked about it, I think in
Cute
full
worker
Wrecker
lore.
lore, but back in 2022, I believe, yeah, um, I went on a work trip to Boston to work PAX East, and it was the worst week of my life.
Yes.
Like, I still think that it is worse than a lot of the things that we've been dealing with now, and I
I mean,
just
it sounds
went to
like
the
it.
ER last night, but, like,
For
I
stroke-like symptoms.
on the very last day of the convention, I tested positive for COVID,
Yes.
so I got stuck for an extra week in Boston, so I had already been there for 4 days, and I had to stay another 7. So I was
Yeah.
there for almost a full 2 weeks alone in a hotel room
Yes.
with COVID.
Yes.
Um, the day that I tested positive, I also realized that there was fraudulent charges on to my card,
That was a good
so I
time.
lost access to all of my money.
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of really horrible personal things. I was in a relationship with somebody else and found out later that that person was cheating on me while I was there going
Yeah,
through all of that, and then the day that I was finally, like, able to go home, my Uber driver pickpocketed me and stole my wallet,
yeah.
and when I finally got home and I was talking to one of my friends, he told me that all of that happened because I did the curse on that
Mhm.
person, and I left, like, one of the objects behind, I didn't take it with me. And he was like, You need like, when you do something like that, you have to carry it with you." So he's like, "It pretty much backfired on you."
Mm,
I don't think it backfired on me. I
yeah,
that because that person, the situation, it got resolved shortly after all of that.
yeah.
But I think what I think is it was getting rid of a lot of other really horrible things that were going on in
It
my
was
life.
showing the light in
Yeah.
what was actually
Mhm.
going on behind the
Yep.
scenes in your life.
It like, because obviously, like, the money problems, pickpocketing, all of that was an issue, but, like, part of it was, like, I had my coworker's, like, work business card with me because for emergencies since I was on a work trip, so if I needed to, like, pay for anything, I had his card from the company, his company
Mhm.
card. Um, lo so that got stolen with it, and then r that coworker, right after I found out that my ex cheated on me, he got laid off. And I had issues with him. So, like, all
Mhm.
it was clearing out more than just the targeted person. So,
Yeah,
there was more of an effect, and even though that was, like, some of the worst shit I've gone through, just because it was negative and it didn't feel good that I was going through it, did not mean that I cursed myself.
right.
Because after all of that was said and done, I I went to Comic-Con.
Mhm.
I worked with Marvel Studio like, with Marvel to create products. I designed the entire Marvel booth. I did a live stream with
Mhm.
Marvel. I love the Marvel team. Like, I bought my mom a house shortly after that. Like,
Yeah,
it cleared out everything, even though it felt super negative.
yeah.
And my one friend trying to be like, "No, like, you cursed yourself, it backfired." So much good came out of it. It was just clearing out the rest of the gunk because it was more
Mhm.
than just that one person that was the problem. It was so many other things that were an issue, and all of those got cleared out and taken out,
Yeah,
and that's what led me to, like, get back into spirituality and be okay, and then a year later is when I met you.
yeah.
So, like,
You could argue that that's what love and light actually
yeah.
is because people don't want to admit that something horrible like
Mhm.
that is this, like, just wonderful idea
Well,
of love and light.
light casts shadows.
Yes, when you bring
Like
light to something, you are seeing it for what
Mhm,
it is, you're seeing the truth of it, and we are living on Earth, which is one of the, like, darkest
mhm,
things, so people just want to ignore the shadow that it casts behind it. That's why
yeah,
we're all, like, putting masks on and pretending like everything is fucking fine, but it's
mhm,
not, and love isn't this, like, beautiful, wonderful thing. If you have that, like, that's great and all, but you're going to eventually get into a fight, and if you're not getting into fights, you're probably not having deep conversations about things.
yeah. And having someone try to point to that situation that like, that Boston trip that happened to me and be like, "Oh, it backfired, you cursed yourself." Like, that did more harm to me because I was like, "Well, did I fuck up? Did I do something wrong?"
Yeah.
All this bad maybe he was right. And then once all of that stuff was done and over, prosperity happened, good things
You're
happened. So then I
right.
was like, "Well, clearly, I didn't, like, fully curse myself
Mhm.
because now
Now I'm
all of
getting
these
good
good
things.
things are happening to
Uh-huh.
me." So,
You shined a light on your life.
yeah.
You stopped ignoring the things that were causing
Mhm.
the heartbreak.
Yeah. And during all of that, I was still going to therapy. I was still, like, working on myself. I wasn't, like, just ignoring all of the problems.
Mhm.
I was and even, like, my ex that cheated on me, like, we had, like there was a lot we had other issues in our relationship long before that. It's not like th that me cursing someone else, like, caused that relationship to fall apart. There were issues and tells long before. I literally have the notes in my phone before
Yeah.
that Austin trip of me being like, "I think our relationship's gonna end, like, this is, like, they're like, "This is not going really good right now. I'm not very happy." Like, I was aware of all of the things that were happening. Thank you. She looked at my hand. UA, not M, if you're only listening to the
Oh, yes.
I sound like M is licking me, and that's really weird. But, yeah, I don't know, I think that the whole like, so much of what was happening got twisted into something else,
Mhm. Well,
and now looking back, I can be like, "No, I didn't curse myself."
no.
And I'm sure that there might be some people who are like, "Well, you guys are going through such bad things now, so how do you know?" Because
Love and light is being shown onto our lives. Literally, we work with, uh,
Archangel Michael,
Archangel Michael, and he fucking calls us, like, a nickname. He
love and
calls me
light,
Love and calls Riker Light.
and the thing is, we hate it. He does it
Mhm.
because we
Embody those ideas.
yeah.
'Cause
So
Riker is the type of person that, like, brings truth and light to people that want to, like, ignore what they're doing, or, like, have this mask and stuff like that. You're always the one that, like, tries to break that.
yeah, I if you ever try to become friends with me, I'm sorry, but you will have to be prepared that I will have hard conversations with
Mhm.
you about things.
Yeah, you
And
don't
I
ignore
have
it.
lost friendships because of it.
Yeah,
And I am currently working on that in therapy with my therapist
yeah,
because so many people think that it's like a bad thing if I have a hard conversation, but if I am someone where if I'm having a hard conversation with you and I'm like being like, "Hey, you're doing X, Y, and Z, like you are like what you've done has hurt me. I understand it wasn't intentional, but like we need to talk about this." If people have issue with that, like I don't what am I supposed to do? I'm doing it because I care about the person.
right.
If I
That's
take the
what life
steps to
is.
talk to to talk to you in that way,
Mhm,
it's because I genuinely care about you and I think that we can like fix the issue, solve it, or do whatever. If I
mhm.
if, like, there's an issue and I don't talk to you about it, it's because I don't care enough about it, which might be kind of cynical or sound mean, but
Why
she
does he call me Love?
I feel like it's because you show people love unconditionally
Yeah.
no matter what horrible things they do to you,
Okay, I just
and
wanted to make
that
sure that that was what was
and I
happening.
think th and I think that makes people uncomfortable
Yeah. No, I do
because
too.
a lot of people in my experience, when they do something, like, negative,
Mhm.
they, like, want you to also react in, like, an equally, like, negative way, like, they want to start a fight.
Yeah.
Like, with like, for an example, I'm using a story with my ex, like, I am she was a theater person, and she loved to go to karaoke bars with her castmates. I am an introvert, I don't drink, I'm not a singer, so I don't like going to bars, so it wasn't my thing. But I was like, "You can go and, like, hang out with your friends and do that, I have no issue." But she wanted it to be a fight. She wanted me to be
Mhm.
upset that she was doing something without me and was like, "Well, no, like, aren't you, like, upset that I'm not spending time with you?" And I was like, "Well, no, like, we spend time together all the time, and you're allowed to go do your own thing with your friends. It's not, like, a bad thing, but I don't enjoy it, but I have my own, like, I'm gonna go play video games with my online friends who are also introverts, like, you can do you, I'll do me. I'll talk to you later."
Yeah.
But she was used to people attacking her and, like, starting a fight over it,
Mhm.
so whenever we had those situations where I wasn't pushing a fight, she didn't know how to act, and that's not just with her. I've had a lot of people who do that where I'm like, "Oh, no,
Mhm.
it's fine," and they're like, "I thought you were gonna be, like, mad at me," and I'm like, "Oh,
Mhm.
no, like, I why would I" like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I definitely love people to a fault.
yes.
But yeah, he literally calls us love and light because we do that to people, and it's people in the spiritual niche would not look at us and be like, "Oh my god, they're so love and
Yeah,
light."
no, when people we have people who are, like, they're dark,
Yeah,
like,
people, like,
they're
quote, unquote,
mhm,
"question our ethics" because we, like, use a Ouija board and don't do the, like,
mhm,
rituals with it and talk to demons.
and I'm like, "Yeah, we talked to angels too." Literally last podcast, you talked to Jesus Christ about things, like, we like,
We're talking about Archangel Michael
yeah,
who
it's
works
like,
with
it
us.
doesn't to me, it's just like, I don't know what you like what do you want from us?
I
Like,
think you need to have both sides because,
mhm,
like, people think people are very weird about demons, like Lucifer, Beelzebub, Azazel, Azrael. People are all like, "They're evil," but, like,
which
they're just dealing with
mhm,
harder topics.
I just picked up a new book called The Daemon, and it's by Anthony Peake, and
I'll link
it's
all of
yeah,
this.
well, it's I read his other book about astral projection, and it's fantastic, so I picked up The Daemon because
Mhm.
it's talking about how everyone has, like, their own personal daemon within them,
Yeah,
and, like, the psychology and, like, how, like, that might how the daemon might actually be your higher self. I haven't started reading it, so we'll come back to that in a future
yeah.
podcast and talk about it. You guys can also let us know if you want us to, like, do, like tell you more about books, like, in the podcasts or
Yeah, because we wanna do we're kinda doing a book club, like Coven book club, because we mentioned
yeah,
our Coven club
but the
circle
astral
thing.
projection stuff, I don't really count as, like,
Oh, yeah,
a
well, that's a
coven
bit
t
different.
yeah. So some of these other things
Well, I
aren't
think it's
necessarily witchcraft,
interesting to talk about the
mhm,
books and stuff like that.
but if you want to hear, like, more about that, you guys should let us know.
Yeah. Well, doesn't I know you did research in the Egyptian cultures, and they talk about like people having like a personal demon or something
Ancient
like
Greece.
ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece. Yeah,
Ancient Greece.
I mean, a lot of ancient cultures talk about, like, demons or daemons, but not in the westernized way that in, like, kind of like the lens of Christianity that we view now.
So I also think that, like Solomon Seal stuff, they
Yeah,
talked
because I
about
think that,
demons too. Yeah, I don't know.
because it was in ancient Greece, I forget exactly who it was, but some, like, famous philosopher, um, openly talked about his about a daemon that he worked with that
Yeah.
was like, this like, a daemon is not he is not steering me towards good or bad, he is just helping me along my path, like,
Yes.
he is a more neutral force, he is not, like, ruining my
Yes.
life, he's, if anything, helping me become more aligned
Mhm.
with what I should be doing
Yeah.
in my life, and he brings more good. He's which is why I struggle when people are like, "Oh, this, like you're gonna have an attachment or demon, and, like, they're gonna, like, tell you that you want to, like, kill yourself or do all of
Right.
these things." Because 'cause I'm like, I've never experienced that.
Mhm.
I've never had, like, a demon or a dark entity, like, attach and be like, I'm gonna give you all of these horrible dark thoughts and ruin your life."
Mhm.
Any of those horrible dark thoughts that I have come from me. They're
Yeah.
not coming from anything external, they're coming from within me,
Mhm.
and I personally feel like that is the case for most people. Even, like, a time where I felt like I was maybe being affected by an external thing that was, like, making I felt like it was just making my own thoughts louder and worse,
Mhm.
not, like, putting in new thoughts
Yeah.
that I've never had before.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a balancing act
Mhm,
because I don't know, I get the idea that people say love and light because they think that is, like, balanced and, like, high vibe, but, like, you can't have balance if you aren't looking at the shadows.
mhm.
You have to look at both.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole yin yang, like,
Yeah.
in the white part of it, there's also black, and in the black part, there's also white. There's balance to both of it. If you want to use the same concept from, like, Legend of Korra or Avatar, or, like,
Mhm.
there's Rava and Vatu, like, there's always, like, a balance to things. That is why so many cultures talk about that, but because it's been so westernized and commercialized and like, Christianized.
Mhm.
It's been, like, simplified into just light, good, dark, evil, and you should, like, never have this around, you should only ever have this,
Yeah.
and that creates, like, toxicity. It makes people afraid of themselves more than anything.
Mhm.
Makes you afraid to have interactions, it closes you off to not just spirituality or whatever, it closes you off to human interactions because you're so worried about things, like
Yeah.
I like, I have a lot of, like, trauma, like, sexual trauma from things, and one of my old therapists was like, "I'm surprised that, like, you're not scared of, like, all men." And I was like, "Well, because I don't think like
All
I
men
know
are
that
like that.
there are plenty of men in my life who are not like that.
Yeah.
Just because there's a few does not mean all." This is
Mhm.
not me saying, like, not all men because, like, we believe victims, like, we're but
Yeah.
there's a balance into thinking things, and I'm at least someone who I will judge you by, like, who you actually are
Yeah.
versus, like,
Well,
anything else.
that's the concept of, like, we talk about I don't think people are all good or all bad.
Yeah,
I don't think that's an option because people will look at serial killers and be like, "You're evil." Like, when we go to haunted locations, they're like, "Oh, this surgeon is evil because
yeah,
he was doing experiments on people."
yeah, the
But, like, he's a human fucking being.
yeah, because that's specifically, at Madison Seminary, there's a surgeon in, like, the upstairs kind of in the, like, asylum area that everyone kind of talks about as being, like, evil and horrible, and he experimented and did cruel things, but when Em and I went there and spoke to him, he was like, "I cared for my patients. I existed in a time where these practices were new. I was trying to help save people,
Mhm.
and every time I lost someone, I felt that personally, and it was
Yeah.
hard for him, and he doesn't like how he's, like, talked about because he's like, "People
Mhm.
don't understand me and who I actually am. They don't understand that medicine back in, the 1800s is nothing like it is
Yeah.
today, like,
That
there's
was the option.
yeah, like, things were more experimental because medicine was still learning.
Yeah.
Even now, today, there is still experimental medicine, and that
Mhm.
is how you have breakthroughs. It does not mean just that he was doing it out of malice,
Yeah.
and I think that's where, like
But people always, like,
yeah,
talk about him as being this evil man that was, like, doing it to these people that couldn't protect themselves. But, like, we literally went there, and he was bringing souls to us to help them cross over. Like, we literally there was a soul that didn't even know that they were, like, passed,
mhm,
and I have never talked to a soul that didn't know that they were, like,
yeah.
not living
That was
anymore.
still, like, the craziest thing because you were under the Estes method, and I
Mhm.
was talking to them, and he kept bringing in people, like, one by one to help because he wanted to help them.
Yeah.
He wanted to help, like, people who died under his care, but not he didn't kill them purposefully.
Yeah.
Things went
Just
wrong, but he wanted to help give them peace and understanding so they could, like, heal from that,
mhm.
and he didn't care about himself, he wanted to help the people who were still there,
Yeah.
and, like, so many people just look at it and be like, "Oh," they, like, run with this narrative, and that's in the paranormal
Mhm.
overall, like, so many things are, like, demonized, like, talked
Mhm.
about so negatively, like, "Oh, this person did these horrible things," and it's like, "No, they didn't,"
Yeah.
like
But it's also like, we'll go up to people that, like, are, like, serial killers and, like, talk to them like they're just regular human beings and not these monsters. Cause like, I remember in Madison, there's also, like, this man in the basement, and this man, like, supposedly, like, did horrible things to women. So we, like, went in there and we're basically, like, going to try to be like, "Okay, why are you doing that?" Like, in the most understanding way possible, which to me
mhm,
is love. That is what love truly is. It's understanding and acceptance of what you see behind the curtain.
mhm,
So, he told us, literally told us, "I know what you're trying to do," because most people do not go in there, like, warm-hearted and
mhm.
understanding of someone they think is bad.
Yeah, and also I want to preface that when we talk about it, we are specifically talking about, like, spirit that we are talking to.
Yes.
Like, I don't, like, have boundaries, don't let people treat you like shit, like, don't 'cause I have the problem that I'm working on in therapy where I'm too forgiving of people,
Yes.
and I'm too understanding where I can be like, "Oh, I understand that
Mhm.
you're doing this bad thing to me because you have your own trauma, so I
Yeah.
excuse it, and that's not okay." Like,
Mhm.
don't
Like, the
do
things
that.
that they're doing
Yeah,
are bad, but that doesn't
I
make
mean, them a
them
horrible
bad
person. Yeah,
person. They have a balance.
yeah. I do have a slightly different opinion than you on the serial killer thing, um,
Mhm.
because it's hard for me when it comes to like taking another life.
Mhm.
Um, Granted, we've talked to serial killers and in like spirit.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a difference in understanding and still showing them compassion because they are still a human being versus like like dismissing the wrong that they've done. I just want to make that clear for
Yeah,
people
no, I'm not
because
dismissing
no,
the
no,
bad
I
things that
know
they're
you're not,
doing.
but
They're still a person.
yeah, I just want to make sure it's clear for people because I don't want people to be like, oh, we're like
Dismissing
religious.
the
I'm like,
horrible
no, we're not. Huh?
No, because people
Great.
just, like they won't even listen to you if they
Mm-hmm.
think that you're, like, bad,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what you do. But that's not true because that goes into, like, demons and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, people like, we work with Asmodeus, and people, like, tell stories about Asmodeus causing people to, like, do sexual trauma to each other, and it's like, he also helps people that are
Mm-hmm.
dealing with those
Y
things.
that still is funny to me because 'cause we've had people specifically be like, he's the worst of the worst," and we're like,
Right.
He told us to
He
start
told us to
this
start this podcast.
podcast." That is, like, that is what he initially did was be like,
Yeah.
"Do this thing," like, we've worked with him, he's not like, our life hasn't been ruined by him, like,
No.
it's the same with, like, Lilith,
Yeah.
like, I've been getting my ass handed to me lately working with Lilith, but it's because she's, like, forcing me to actually look at some of the shadow parts, to shed
Mhm.
light on them, to work
Dark
through to
femininity or
yeah,
whatever.
and so many people are like, "Oh, well, she's the mother of demons, she's, like, horrible, she's gonna, like, possess you," and it's like,
Yeah.
"No, she's just helping me, like, understand
Yeah.
other parts of, like, relationships I've had with people that were not good,
Mhm.
and understand and, like, helping me raise my standard for how I want to be treated, not
Yeah.
just allowing anything to, like, go, so,
Mhm.
yeah, love and light is bullshit.
Love is like is bullshit.
I know that we're jumping around all over the place, but
That's how all of our
I was like, that I
podcasts
think
are.
that's why you guys like it because we go all over the place,
Yeah.
but do you have anything else about love and light?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't know. What do you think, UA? Do you have opinions about love and light? She's like, "I have opinions that you're not talking to me," and it's like, "Huh."
Well, while we think about that, we are starting to potentially do a like part two podcast, which is we have this podcast that'll be released to the public. And then we have an exclusive part two where we continue talking about
Whatever.
secretive
Six
things with
what
our patron members.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you wanna get access to the second half of this podcast, go check out our Patreon. It'll
Hmm.
be linked in the show notes,
Yeah.
but we're gonna experiment with it, see what we like about it.
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys can hear the puppy noises. I kinda hope you can because 'cause they're very cute, but
She's making like cute little like
and snoring.
snory noises.
Yeah.
She's like hard eyes on.
She's a she's a daddy's girl. She is obsessed with me for some reason.
And she is just me as a dog, so
Yeah, but I don't know. In terms of love and light, I think that it's fine to, like, try to be positive and not, like, allow yourself to, like, spiral into just solely, like, negativity.
Yeah.
I think that like, there is, like that is a good thing, but I think also you can allow yourself to have negative thoughts or feelings or emotions about things. I mean, I don't think any emotion is really negative. I
Yeah.
don't think that, like, anger or sadness or anything is, like, going to, like, hurt you. I don't think that
Mhm.
your life is gonna get ruined, or if, like, someone in your life, I don't know, like, does something that, like, is harmful to you and you have, like, a negative opinion of it, you're not gonna, like, cause them harm just by thinking it.
Yeah, because now I understand why I don't like Love and Light because, like, how we view love and light is very much like surface level shallow. It's just what it illuminates and not what it casts.
Mhm.
And there's more than the like toxic positivity that goes into love and light. It's more of the things that go beyond it and into the like shadows of it. But a lot of people want to ignore that because it's very uncomfortable, which is why we're always just like, this love and light," like, it's kinda like the woo-woo side of
Yeah.
things. It's kinda interchangeable how we
I
use it.
I definitely see love and light as part of the, like, woo-woo side of spirituality.
Yeah, and if you don't know what, like, the woo-woo is, it's like when people are, like, so invested into, like, spirituality that they get, like, caught up in the, like, "You have to do this, you have to stomp on your right foot, don't forget it," and you're really, like, into the, like, I can't do any I have to, like, conform my diet to, like, fit into
Yeah, the people who are like, eating vegan is actually going to raise your vibration and, like, it's better for you because you're not
yeah.
consuming animals because, like, souls
Mhm.
and things, like, no, you should change your diet to whatever is
Going to make you
healthiest
feel
for
happy.
you, not, like, I don't know. To me, like, if you want to achieve love and light enlightenment, I think that you need to figure out what works for you
Yeah.
and what makes you feel best inside, no
Mhm.
matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter you and if that means that you like the love and light, even though we just spent the last, I don't know, hour kind of shitting on love and light,
Well,
that's
our
okay.
version
Like,
of love and light is not what people think.
yeah, but if someone
Yeah.
if that
Floats your boat.
if that floats your boat, then own it. Do it. Like, you don't
Mhm.
have to take our, like, word as, like, law, because I don't know, we've had people, like, come to us or, like, make comments online that we, like, think that we know more or that we, like, have everything, and I'm like, if that's what you're taking away from our content, then, like, 1, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you because if
We
you come
don't
to me
know
and you're
you.
like, "I did everything you said," I'm like, "Oh, no, please don't do that." Like, I'm just talking about myself and my own experiences and
Yeah.
what I've learned for myself, but you are a completely different and unique and individual person outside of me. What works for me is not going to be, like, a one size fits all for everyone. Like, even you and I, like, even though there are similarities to how we do things, we still do operate differently because we
Mhm.
are our own unique people. So
Yeah,
do you
and
wanna
we
talk about ascension at all?
I mean, yeah.
What are your thoughts about it? Sorry, you can finish your thought
When
too, I
well,
was
I was
just
gonna just say, I don't remember actually.
sorry.
Uh, what do you mean by ascension? You mean, like, going to
Like, raising
5D?
yeah, like, raising your like, the full, like
Oh, well, I don't know.
like,
I don't think
let me see
raising your
what
vibration means you are, like, increasing the frequency of it. I feel like you need to, like, hone in on your own frequency of who you are. I don't know if that makes sense.
so this is, like, the quick, like, overview from Google, and I just put in, like, what does it mean to ascend to the 5D?
Yeah.
So, in spiritual context, 5D ascension refers to a shift in consciousness from a limited ego-driven 3D perspective to a higher state of awareness characterized by unity, unconditional love, and interconnectedness. It's a process of expanding consciousness, often associated with spiritual awakenings, where one perceives reality beyond the fragmented and dualistic nature of the 3D world. And then it says 3D versus 5D consciousness. 3D is often associated with the physical world characterized by duality, good, bad, right, wrong, and a sense of separation and a focus on the ego and material possessions. 5D, or the fifth dimension, is a state of higher consciousness where one experiences unity, interconnectedness, unconditional love, and a greater understanding of reality beyond the limitations of the physical world. So, like, I guess I don't know if I don't disagree with, like, the understanding and unity, because like,
Yeah.
that aspect, but I think of how it's being pushed and how it's actually talked about is very different than what it actually means.
Yeah, I also don't think you're going to a different dimension because you achieve it.
Y
I think there
Same.
is a 5th dimension that is a different frequency. Because the way I view dimensions, it's kinda like being in water. the further you go down, the more pressure you have on your body. It's the same thing with here, which is why we're on like the third dimension or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah,
And it's hard here because the pressure is deeper. We're deeper
yeah.
in the water.
Also, if this is, like, the, like, 3rd dimension 3D or whatever, I don't like, if you are
Yeah.
a 3rd
You're
dimensional
in a three
being, how
dimensional
are you
body.
going to, like, ascend to a
Ascend.
different dimension? You're not going to.
Yeah.
And I think expanding your, like, knowledge and consciousness is very different than, like, ascending to the 5th dimension, but this says key aspects of 5D ascension: shifting from ego to oneness, unconditional love, expanded awareness, fluidity of time, and increased sensitivity. They have, like, things, but I'm not gonna read all of that. And then how to ascend to the 5D. Spiritual practices, meditation, mindfulness, yoga, and other practices can help quiet the mind, connect with higher consciousness, and facilitate the shift.
Ah, that's what meditation
Yep.
does.
Self-reflection and healing, identifying and releasing limiting beliefs, emotional wounds, and negative thought patterns. Living with intention, making conscious choices aligned with love, compassion, and personal growth. Releasing attachment, letting go of attachments to material possessions, outcomes, and fixed ideas. And then it says, important note, the concept of 5D ascension is a spiritual framework and not a scientifically proven phenomenon. It's a perspective that resonates with some individuals seeking deeper meaning and connection to the universe according to spiritual sources.
But of course.
Which, of course, I don't know. To me, that starts, I don't know, when I read all of that, to me, I'm like, so you're just separating being a human being with this, like, spiritual enlightenment when it's all together?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, because like, letting go of material possessions, you
Mhm.
can also you can be, like, a conscious person and be, like, show unconditional love or, like, have a community experience oneness or whatever, and still like having nice things. Like, you don't
Mhm.
have to completely detach from material possessions. Because I still feel like a lot of that comes from, like, I don't know, like the Buddhist monks and,
Mhm.
like, Nirvana, and I'm like, you're to me, it's they're taking so much of that out of actual
Context.
context and what they're actually doing,
Yeah.
and I'm not an expert in any of that, so I don't necessarily feel like I can, like, properly
Speak
compare and
on.
contrast it. I would have to, like, make sure I would have to educate myself a lot more before, like, fully speaking on that,
Mhm.
but if you guys know more about that, you can let us know in, like, the comments or anything below.
Yeah. With the frequency stuff, I people are like very interested in like raising their vibration and they're always like I need to like go higher and higher and higher or otherwise I won't be able to like whatever I guess ascend. But
Ascend.
I don't think the goal is for you to like raise your vibration to like peak whatever. I think it is honing your own vibration. You are incarnate in this body living this life. So in order for you to like live the quote unquote best life that you can, you need to be accepting of yourself.
Mhm.
And that is going to balance your vibration to be more true to you instead of you trying to like put on this false sense of whatever to
Mhm.
raise your vibration.
Yeah.
And are there things of like you feeling sick and you feeling low vibe or like you feeling like really depressed and whatever? That is just like reminders of you to
Being
go
human.
back into
Yeah, and I
yourself.
feel like that's also just being human.
Yeah.
Like, I I struggle with how people talk about, like, spirituality and love and light because it feels like they're removing the aspects of being human from, like, life,
Mhm.
and, like, we are living as humans for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, and whether you believe in any of this or not, like, at the end of the day, we're all human. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think that anyone who is, like, spiritually enlightened is like, is better than anyone
Yeah.
else. Like, I think that if that's what worked for them, that's great, but just because I don't know, like, you were talking about, like, being, like, depressed or sad, like,
Mhm.
I feel like so many, like, love and light girlies out there look at that as failure,
Yeah,
and, like, you're failing at life, you're failing at being connected when, like, experiencing, like, all of those feelings is
yeah,
part of the human experience,
yeah,
and you
you're not
can't just
accepting where you are in the moment.
yeah, you can't just disconnect from those altogether, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
Like, and maybe this, like, sounds, like, nihilistic of me, but, like, you're never going to fully separate yourself from that because you are a human being,
yeah,
and I think that being, like, human, you're going to have to learn how to, like, if it's, like, spirit, like, if you wanna connect to spirit or your guides or whatever, like, you need to learn how to do it from a human standpoint and
mhm,
not try to do it from, like, a spirit of,
yeah,
like, where a spirit as, like, you are a human, you have to do things as a human, you can't
mhm.
just ascend.
Well, it's also when those things are happening to you, it's allowing you to learn things about yourself. Because when you're sick, your body is learning how to protect itself better. And when you are sad, depressed, it is you learning about your belief system and how it is impacting your life. So it is still always just a balancing act. You are
Mhm,
trying to balance your frequency that is, under my opinion, continuously changing based upon your learned perspective of living your life.
yep,
So, like, I don't think you're going to, like, ascend to a different dimension. I think that's weird. I mean, I think that when you as a soul are deciding to incarnate on Earth and in the third dimension or whatever, you're learning lessons here, and that is going to cause your soul to, like, learn and create different perspectives based on this dimension, which is going to cause you to go up, quote unquote, raise your vibration to go to the next dimension to learn lessons from that dimension because now your perspective has been broadened so much that now you need more things to learn about the like collective of spirit that you are existing in.
mhm,
Are you going to do that in your like living human life? No. You are living in a 3D body in the third dimension, and this life is going to stay in this dimension. You, as a spirit, might go up or down based upon what perspective you need. And that doesn't mean that you're going to continue go up to like the 12th D or whatever. Sometimes you need to go down again to
mhm,
see or understand things that you
yeah,
experience higher.
there's more value in being human than people want to realize. I feel like people get so uncomfortable with life just because, like, life is hard, like,
Mm,
there's, like and it definitely feels hard when, like, things in the world, like, the state of the world right now is, like, it's hard to, like, exist as a human and feel like you can be, like, connected to things while watching wars breaking out and all of this other horrible stuff, but there's still, like, value in being human, and
right.
we're here together. I think a lot of people too put so much emphasis on connecting with, like, spirit as, like, the ultimate goal that they start to lose the human to human interaction. Like, I think that obviously there's value in, like, connecting with spirit. There's equally as much value as connecting to each other,
Because
at least in
honestly, I
my
think that's what the goal is.
yeah, like, and I think that spirit tries to help facilitate that human to human connection and
Yeah.
understanding for you so you can connect with other, like, living, breathing human beings on the planet.
Mhm.
But I don't think that the goal should just be connecting to spirit. I think it should be connecting to each other because
Yeah.
I feel like society has gone a more like individualistic route where, like, everyone's their own person and we're so, like, separated and, like, you're this, versus coming together to be one, and I think that is more important than just, like,
Yeah.
solely talking to spirit or your spirit guides or ascending, like
Well, that's the lesson that we learn in the third dimension
mhm,
is what the challenge is separation, emotion, and like restriction.
mhm,
'cause everything happens slow, everything takes a lot of time and effort, there's a lot of feelings because you don't fully see a lot of the perspectives of life, you don't really see how the inner workings of things happen, so it is very hard and very lonely, so my impression of existing in this dimension is learning how to, I don't know, learning how to reconnect
Mhm.
in a place that causes or wants you to feel isolated.
Yeah. Last question I have for you. What is, like 'cause I know, like, you and I have talked about a little bit, but what is your opinion about, like, the whole, like, starseed, Lumerian, that type of thing?
Well, first, I didn't realize that, like, it was based upon, like, the white supremacy things of, like, perfect race or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of people that are very, like, into it, and I feel like it more so those people feel more like they're aliens, like they
Mhm.
don't belong here. Which is why I think they are, like, relating themselves to it, not the whole, like, "I'm a perfect race, I'm better than everyone."
Yeah,
But
and that's I feel like a lot of the people who when they
no,
hear about it, they're like, "Oh,
that
you're
makes
giving me
sense
an
to me.
explanation to why I feel so, like, left out and so different from everyone around me."
Yeah,
But they don't realize where it stems from. That's
mhm,
why whenever people talk about it, I'm like, I don't think that just because you believe in it that you are like that you're a white supremacist or that you're
yeah,
like this horrible person because you've been sold something that tries to explain a feeling that you
mhm,
didn't have an answer to prior. So
yeah,
I do want to preface that and say, like, if you are someone who thinks that you're a starseed or a Lumerian, I am not claiming that you are this horrible person. I think that you've been sold a lie that is rooted in very problematic behaviors. Eventually I want to do a deep dive on it.
mhm,
I did see that the channel Flurio, she just did a like deep dive, or she posted a video about star seeds.
mhm,
I haven't watched it yet, but
mhm,
I wanted to take a look at it because I know I think that she's a like practicing like pagan witch or something like that,
mhm,
and she has a lot of good insights into kind of the like that kind of like bullshit type
yeah,
things. Um, because I didn't know what like star seeds or anything were for the longest time.
yeah,
But I had like seen it pop up and I was like, well, I was like, I know that like I struggle to connect and sometimes I feel like an outsider, but I don't feel like I'm this like alien race. That seems a little fucking weird, like
mhm.
to me at least. And
Well,
then a TikTok popped up of someone talking about how it was problematic, and then I did a little bit of digging and I was like, "Oh, I get that." Because I think I read you that one time, like, one of, like, this document of someone did about the, like, beliefs of star
mhm,
seeds and things, and
yeah. Well,
Atlanteans, Lemurians, Pleiadians.
do people that believe they're a starseed believe they're an alien in this life, or that they were an alien?
It's like a mix, let
'Cause that's
me
what I'm confused about. Because 'cause I'm like, yeah, I believe that there are probably, like, different types of alien races that you are talking about being these specific races, Lemurian, whatever, but I'm not entirely sure how it is impacting of the life you're living right now.
So, again, this is kind of just the quick Google AI overview thing, but starseeds are individuals who believe their souls originated on other planets or star systems
Yeah,
and have incarnated on Earth to help humanity and the planet. They are a subset of New Age beliefs, often blending elements of esoteric, esotericism, sorry,
mhm,
words, shamanism, and science fiction. Starseeds believe they have a special mission to fulfill, such as guiding humanity towards a golden age or healing the planet. But I've seen people who also believe that they like, it's not just their soul originated, that they, like, themselves
are.
are, like, aliens that maybe or, like, they actually were aliens, like, one of their parents or something was an alien and like, they're a
Yeah,
mix of human, like, I don't know,
right.
there's a lot of, like, weird things with it.
Yeah, 'Cause I think your past lives do impact you. I don't think it's just you originated as an alien and now you're coming into Earth and you feel whatever. I also don't necessarily think that because you had a past life as an alien that you, like, are sent here to, like, better our planet and it's, like, your specific job or mission to. That is just how it should
Yeah,
be,
so
like, people should want to help each other.
yeah,
I
this
don't know.
is, Wikipedia. So, star people or starseeds are a variant of the belief in alien human hybrids in New Age belief and fringe theory. Introduced by Brad Steiger in his 1976 book Gods of Aquarius, it argues that certain people originated as extraterrestrials and arrived on Earth through birth or as a walk in to an existing human body.
Yeah.
So, like, but a lot of it is not good. Well, eventually, once I'm done with astral projection research, I think I wanna do, star seeds because we've had a lot of people be like, "I was told I was a star seed."
Mhm.
And always feel bad being like, "Hey, just so you know, it stems from problematic thinking," and most people, they don't know about it.
Yeah.
They just feel the sense of belonging finally,
Mhm.
and I think that that's it makes me sad that it stems from such a horrible place, and it's being sold and, like, packaged to people in a specific way,
Mhm.
because that is where I feel like sometimes spirituality can exploit people, but that's a whole other conversation. Sorry, I'm all over the place today.
Oh, no, you're fine. I had a thought, but I'm trying to remember what it was. But yeah, I don't know, with it the, like it has, like, the same kinda vibe of people not thinking the Egyptians built the pyramids and the aliens did
Yeah,
instead,
which is, if you guys don't know, that
which is,
line
like,
of thinking
wild to me.
is actually extremely racist,
Yeah.
because a lot of people think that, you know, the black people, Egyptians, weren't intelligent enough to do those things,
Yeah.
and that's
So,
racist white supremacist
there's
thinking.
a
Think
lot of conspiracies about how the pyramids started happening. She lost her bone. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. There's a lot of conspiracies that aliens did it. I think like Beelzebub or the devil did it, or Lucifer, like possessed people, or they like
Mhm.
I don't know. They what's the power that you can like telekinesis the bricks
Oh, yeah.
together? And I'm like, why can't they just like figure out a method to like push them up the pyramid?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
why can't they do that with like water or
and
something
the thing
else?
is, we know how the pyramids were made, but
Yeah.
conspiracy theorists
Mm.
and racists just are like,
Don't
"No,
understand
there's no way
otherwise.
that these brown people could build the pyramids. They're not smart enough."
So, it has, like, the same vibe because, like, I don't know, I wanted to learn more about why the pyramids are built the way that they are, like, the spirituality behind it, because I feel like the pyramids are built in a way to, like, heighten spiritual connection,
Yeah.
if that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
the, like, pyramids of Giza, they're not the only pyramid
Right, there's
structures
a
in the
lot.
world,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of them were done, like, based on the stars because ancient cultures had a really good understanding of how the world worked.
Yeah. So
Like,
that's what I was interested in, but when you look up conspiracy theories, it's very much like
aliens, everything
who
but
built the pyramids? And I'm like, "Oh my god."
let us know if you want us to do, like, a, like, deep dive into that stuff too,
Dude, I
because
would love to talk about
yeah,
Egyptian things because that just, like, tickles the
yeah.
tism, if you will.
We really want to explore more, like, topics in spirituality, but actually, like, do, like, deep research
Mhm.
into it like, we're I don't we don't wanna just, like, read a Wikipedia page and be like, "Great, done," like,
Yeah.
we want to like, we're trying to buy actual, like,
Yeah, dude.
books and research and look at academic papers and actually, like,
Yeah. 'Cause
dig
this astral
into it.
projection stuff, we're, like, going into, like, the neurology, the anthropology, the
Mhm.
religious aspect, the ancient culture aspect.
Yeah, 'cause, I astral projection is another thing that has been so, like,
Nuanced.
and just, like,
Simplified.
simplified into, like, you leave your body. And
And it's
it's
to the point where people don't even know what
mhm.
it is really.
Yeah, which I listen, I could talk so long about it, but I have to save it for the video, so we're not gonna talk about astral projection right now.
But yeah, yeah, star seeds are very much the same vibe of the Egyptians didn't make the periods,
Mhm,
aliens did. It's it's like, kind of rude that we can't, like, figure out how to develop our own planet and that we, like, need help from these, like, quote, unquote, "higher beings,"
mhm,
but it's packaged in this way that they are better than us, not that they are a part of the same collective. Because is that happening? Is there higher beings helping us to develop as people? Yes, that's happening with, like, spirits are helping us do that. I would assume, like, other beings, like, maybe extraterrestrials are helping us do that, but they're not doing it as, "I'm better than you." They're doing it as, "We are going to raise the collective.
mhm,
We are going to teach each other these things to help us understand things better." It's not a "I, me, you" type of thing, it's us and we. So that is where the, like, issues of, like, star seeds come into, is the, like, big separation. That's where I have issues
mhm.
with, like, spirituality, religion, it's the "I'm better than you" type of thing.
Yeah, well, and that line of thinking starts to, like I feel like it ends up reflecting very negatively on people who are into spirituality, especially, like, mediums and things, like, the amount of people who don't like mediums and which again, if you're not, like, a fan of mediums, that's totally fine, like, I don't really care about that, but the amount of people that we've had tell us, like, "Oh, you guys think that you're so special and you're better than us," and I'm like,
No.
"No, I actually don't. I actually have I think that I'm below you because I
Yeah.
have horrible self-worth, but that's a whole other thing that I'm dealing with in therapy."
Yeah, because
But, like
there's the idea that, like, you have to be born with gifts and that you're born special, but, like, that I feel like makes it seem like mediumship is even more, like, impossible
well,
because,
yeah, I
like
mean, so many people are like, "Oh, like, it's like the women are
you
like, the women are the people who carry that, like,
are
trait."
emotionally like,
Mhm.
influential or whatever, so they get the
Yeah.
mediumship
Or
stuff.
even, like, I haven't watched it, but I want to, like, telepathy tapes
Oh, yeah.
with people who they, like, did studies on, like, autistic or, like, neurodivergent children who had gifts and, like so there are people who are like, "Oh, people who are neurodivergent, like, they're better, like, because they're more in tune." It's like our way of thinking is different because of being neurodivergent, but that doesn't mean that we are just better at anything,
No.
at, like, spirituality than anyone else. Like, I think believing that just because you have a specific trait or quality to you means that you're better than other people at
Yeah.
is, like and I'm specifically talking about, like, being autistic, like, you're more in tune to things, like, I I think that autistic people are able to be, like, more receptive of it easier because of the way of thinking, but I don't think that we inherently are just better at anything because of that. I think that's
Oh, it's just naturally people that are neurodivergent are more in tune to becoming, like, mediums because they struggle with, like, structure, rules,
yeah, but there are
societal, like, at
plenty of neurotypical
mhm.
mediums who,
Yes.
like, are fantastic
No,
as well, like, it
everyone
doesn't
has access to
yeah,
it, it's just it is a different way of thinking. So, when you're neurodivergent, you already have a different way of thinking. So, that's also my theory is that people that think, like, you're born a medium and it's genetic and stuff like that, I feel like those people are neurodivergent and they are genetically passing the, like, neurodivergent whatever genes down, which is causing those people to be quote unquote mediums as
mhm,
well because they already are born with a different way of thinking. And it's not a better way of thinking, it's just it comes easier. It's like singing comes easier to some people. They're naturally gifted in singing. Doesn't mean I can't learn how to sing
mhm,
and not can learn how to sing well. It's the same thing like everyone has the ability to learn those things cuz I don't know. I had a friend who was a skeptic, and he was like, "Yeah, I struggle to believe the mediumship stuff solely because, like, if it truly is a gift, why doesn't everyone have the ability to do it?" And I'm like, "No, you're right." And I, like, struggled with that as well because at that point, I thought people were just born mediums. And then when I started realizing I was also a medium and I just didn't realize it because I didn't understand my way of thinking was actually mediumship because I didn't see things. I didn't see dead people like it's talked about, that I didn't know I was a medium, but I feel like people just can learn how their minds work, and that's going to allow them to start doing
Mhm.
mediumship. We aren't better than anyone. We aren't like have these special gifts or whatever.
I was looking up love and life beliefs just to see if there's anything else that we
What
might wanna
people
hit
like
on, but it
associated to.
actually funny enough, it actually this, like, overview aligns more with how we think about it.
Really?
Yeah. So it suggests a belief that by focusing on love and light, one can overcome negativity, find happiness, and even influence the world around them. However, this concept can be criticized for potentially oversimplifying complex emotions and situations
Oh,
and for neglecting the darker aspects of human existence. And then it kind of talks about it, and then like it has potential criticisms, oversimplification. Critics argue that the love and light approach can oversimplify complex human emotions and experiences, potentially leading to
gosh.
a denial of negative feelings or difficult situations. I agree with that. Spiritual bypassing.
Oh!
Some worry that focusing solely on love and light can be a form of spiritual bypassing,
Yeah,
where individuals avoid confronting their own shadows or dealing with difficult emotions and
that
experiences.
gets into, like, the
Hmm.
woo-woo
Yeah.
stuff.
Lack of empathy. There's a concern that a rigid adherence to love and light can lead to a lack of empathy for those experiencing hardship or negativity, as it may be seen as a failure to maintain a positive outlook. And then naivety. Some find the concept naive, as it may not fully acknowledge the realities of human nature, including the existence of darkness, conflict, and suffering, which I agree with those criticisms. That's kind of I wasn't expecting to like look at that and have it be like, here's like why you could be here's the issues. Cause like, wow, I agree. That is
No,
like my
exactly.
issues with it.
Mhm.
Like, I think it's great to like look at things positively and like, like try to be like positive, but you also have to allow yourself
Yeah.
like the ability to like have complex emotions
Mhm.
and feelings and not be
Yeah,
afraid of like,
'cause that can feed this
mhm,
insecurity that you're not good enough
mhm,
because you aren't positive and happy all the time.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's all I have to say. Love and light.
No, that's crazy that other people say the same thing. Because I was like, "This is a concept that I, like, haven't seen before."
Yeah, I haven't, and granted, bless you. Granted, a lot of I've stopped I don't watch a lot of spiritual content specifically because of the pushing of that narrative. So I kind of like I'm very limited in the stuff that Can you stop sneezing? I'm trying to talk, Emily.
Fine now.
Great. You always looking at you like, what the fuck?
He just keeps looking at me asking to go potty. See?
Like, oh, buddy? Shitty?
She has to go potty.
Well, we can end the public
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of
yeah.
that
Well, you
here.
you can finish what you're saying,
Oh,
I
yeah, but I honestly can't remember what I was gonna say.
yeah.
I got distracted by the cute
By me
dog.
sneezing.
Yeah, by you sneezing.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think about Love and Light because personally, I think that it causes people to feel more like they don't fit somewhere, and it makes it feel like we have to achieve this like perfectionist type of mentality, and that's not possible.
Yeah.
So,
I don't no one no human on this earth will ever be perfect
yeah, no, it's impossible. That's
because
kind of the concept
yeah,
of it.
everyone like, every single person on this planet has flaws and has
That's the point.
yeah, and I to me, love and light is learning how to love your flaws and your imperfections and see them as not a negative, not as a flaw, but just a part of you that exists
Yeah,
and
it's
being
teaching
okay
you
with it.
acceptance. It's
Yeah.
teaching you how the parts that make you different allow you to fit in with a collective. The people that are making you not fit in, it's not because they aren't accepting of you, it's because they are not accepting of themselves.
Mhm.
Someone else definitely said that through me.
Yeah. So, that is my opinions on love and light.
Definite yeah, let us know what you guys think. We wanna start a conversation. That's what these podcasts are for. So, like, these are our opinions. You guys can have different opinions. Maybe you're all for love and light and we're
Yeah.
misunderstanding it.
Mhm.
That's why we're bringing controversial topics to the
Yeah,
podcast.
and if we said something that you think that, like, you don't agree with, or if we got something wrong, like, please, like, let us know. Like you said, we want to have a conversation because we think that these are important conversations to
Yeah.
be having. It's bringing love and light to the discussions.
We are just so not like the
We're
ah, love and light
That's
bitches.
also why I feel like I can't do it because 'cause I'm like, I'm not the type of person who's gonna be like, "Oh, love,
Just like
light, everything is perfect, look at me, short hair."
sunshines and rainbows.
Yeah,
Yeah, when
like
actually love and light is, like, pretty dark.
yeah, I'm like, love and light is actually being like, "Damn, I have a lot of, like, really, like, sad, horrible existential crisis feelings about the state of
Yeah.
the world, but I'm okay to feel that way because it's coming from a place of sadness and love for other human beings and what they're going through.
Love and light.
Doesn't mean that I'm, like, dark and not gonna ascend."
I also will love anyone who counts how many times we say love and light in this podcast and let me know in the comments
Yeah,
'cause I
but
think that would be fun.
make sure you do all the podcast things, like, subscribe, do all of that, and if you want to hear the second half of this
Part 2
podcast, that is going to be behind the paywall on
is Patreon.
Patreon. Go check that out as well, patreon.com/haunted smoke and mirrors, it'll be in the show notes, and we'll meet you over there for the second half of this after we take our puppy out, so,
It's just a goodbye.
goodbye.
Bye.
Hello, and welcome to the exclusive part of podcast.
Welcome to part 2.
We've never done this before, so we're like, what do we talk about? We
Now
don't
we're
know.
gonna tell you all of our secrets.
Secrets. Yeah, I don't know. We've been thinking about doing this like part 2 type thing where we could talk more about the like key or our like opinions about certain things that are like going on
Yeah,
in our lives,
more
whatever.
spicy,
Yeah,
maybe.
things that maybe fall outside of like a normal like the topic that we're talking about. Or
Mhm.
even, like, it maybe isn't, like, long enough, or there's not as much to, like, fit
Meat and
in, like, a
potatoes.
full yeah, to fit in a full podcast
Yeah,
or make
we're
a
gonna
full
give you our
podcast.
thoughts and opinions about whatever we want. Welcome to the exclusive podcast.
Yeah.
Our first one ever.